Ladies and gentlemen, every day at 6:30 p.m., at least I try to make it 6:30 p.m., a podcast version of all of my segments will appear on every single podcast platform, or at least most of them. Usually starts with my main segment, and it's about an hour and a half every single day. So if you like these segments, you like what I talk about, and you want to just hear like my whole day, an hour and a half every day on podcast platforms. Now, there's a reason why I'm telling you this. YouTube deals a massive blow to cryptocurrency community, calls it harmful or dangerous, and mass deletes video. That's right. I am telling you now about my podcast. You should check it out. And the reason is YouTube is once again retroactively enforcing new rules they never warned anyone about. It is extremely dangerous to run your business on YouTube because YouTube does this all the time. Before we start the story, I want to show you something truly horrifying. This is a tweet from a man named Alex Saunders. I don't know who Alex Saunders is. He's the CEO and founder of Nuggets News AU, a blockchain education since 2012. That's about as much as I know about him. He tweeted, "Hi Team YouTube. With over 100 videos removed and 2 strikes in 24 hours, I have still not even received an email from you. This is really scary. We've hired new staff. I have a wife and baby to support. I can't fix the problem if I don't know what I've done or who to communicate with." And this is what YouTube does. YouTube does this all the time. Now, this is a tweet. Alex Saunders tweeted this on the 26th, but this story is on the 24th. Apparently, let me start by saying this. You might not be a fan of the cryptocurrency community. You might know very little about it. This is a YouTube rules issue because YouTube retroactively enforces rules. If you've got a video from, 7 years ago talking about Bitcoin and maybe talking about a website that was no good, you can get a guideline strike. This is what YouTube does. The stupidest thing anyone can do is think they can run a business on YouTube without having a backup plan. Now, I'll tell you this, most of my income comes from YouTube, and it is scary. That's why I'm talking about it. So let's read and see what's going on with cryptocurrency. Reclaim the Net says, YouTube made no announcement that this was coming and quietly dealt the blow as people were wound down for Christmas. Another community of creators on YouTube is starting to get a taste of the giant video platform's targeted crackdowns and censorship. And the latest one has a name, the crypto YouTube carnage. That's how one of those receiving a harmful content strike against a video from 2018, who goes by the name Ivan on Tech, dubbed it in a tweet announcing that he had been banned from uploading content on YouTube for a week. Now, we don't know what is causing these takedowns. Is it simply talking about cryptocurrency? Did they do something specific in these videos, advocate for something specific? Here's the thing. New regulations are coming. I don't want to necessarily just blame YouTube for this one. New regulations are coming. I believe, I'm not a super big crypto person, but I heard there's going to be on the new tax forms, there's going to be a crypto option. YouTube might have no choice but to regulate. But here's where it is YouTube's fault. YouTube could send out a notice to all of the creators saying, if you've done X, Y, or Z, you must do A, B, or C. Instead, they're just wiping people out who have no idea what's going on and destroying their careers and their businesses. That's par for the course for YouTube. We really need competition. Anyway, moving on. Ivan, whose channel with 211,000 subscribers is dedicated to cryptocurrencies and the blockchain tech behind them, as well as financial and investment aspects of the decentralized currency scene, explored the predicament of others in more detail in a stream on YouTube on Monday asking the pertinent question, crypto YouTubers in trouble? This YouTuber said that at least 9 of the top crypto channels received strikes on Monday and speaks about a growing sense of uncertainty among the platform's top talent about their future on YouTube, where each day could be the last, and the need to be prepared to move to alternatives, which he argues need to provide visibility of content along with decentralized hosting. Let's stop real quick. Okay, I always try to be fair. I believe that YouTube should give warnings to people and should act, accordingly like they have to with regulations. And I also want to point out that YouTube does this all the time, okay? Because I'm about to say something and people are going to get mad at me. There are a lot of people who never pay attention to the rules. And simply because YouTube didn't enforce the rules, they are now shocked to find that YouTube starts enforcing those rules. The reason why some of these channels may be banned, some of them, I'll give you this warning. I have had people reach out to me for cryptocurrency advertisements, for financial advertisements, for investment advertisements. If you sponsor content, if you promote content, you are legally required to give a ton of disclaimers, especially on financial advice. It is Actually kind of scary. In the past, I had done some commercials. I deleted them because I ended up getting some strikes. I'm not going to get into the whole thing about what happened, but some of the ads that like some of the companies I sponsored, no one knew it was against the rules, but it was. YouTube didn't announce this because it had always been against the rules. They just didn't enforce it. All of a sudden, all of a sudden people started getting strikes. I got a strike. I went deep in the rules and I found there's a ton of rules nobody knows about. They don't pay attention to. When it pertains to crypto, investment, currency, etc., there are a lot of rules and there are a lot of laws. So YouTube should probably warn people and send out a notice saying, if you do this, but I want to make sure it's clear, a lot of these channels probably already violated the rules a long time ago, and they just don't understand because everyone else did it, right? So you have this like sort of tacit allowance from YouTube, and then one day someone comes in YouTube and says, hey man, you can't do that. These got to come down, and say, okay, and they just snap their fingers and wipe everybody out. You can't do that, okay? We cannot function. YouTube will cease to function if they keep doing things like this, and individual businesses are being threatened because YouTube retroactively enforces new policy. Whether or not the rule exists, enforcing them would be a policy change. They say this. As years worth of videos started disappearing from several crypto YouTubers' channels, many began speculating about the giants' motivations. Some believe that YouTube is sensing a rise of new blockchain platforms that can compete for creators both by offering them better job security and a higher cut of earnings. And that is technically true. There are some platforms that would compete with YouTube that use crypto. I mean, look at Minds.com, for instance. They have a whole crypto system for advertisement and value, and there's a big system behind it. YouTube doesn't do that. YouTube, whether for whatever reason they're taking these channels down, these videos, I'm sorry, there's another rule. Did you know that you can't promote content on other channels using YouTube? I kid you not, there's some weird rule where it's like, if you made a YouTube video where you are like, hey everybody, just want to give you a heads up, I'm going to be doing a live stream over on Twitch about X, Y, and Z, YouTube says it's against the rules. Because you're essentially, it's the weirdest thing ever. Like if I go on Twitter, I can tweet whatever I want. I can be like, hey everybody, stop following me here and go follow me on Instagram. Oh, follow me on Instagram, by the way, at Timcast. But anyway, the point is, YouTube actually has punished people for putting up videos where they're like, tune into my live stream on Twitch at this time, because YouTube doesn't want the competition. Or they might claim it's for another reason, but that's probably what it's for. They say this. Be that as it may, what's undeniable is that more and more crypto creators are now suffering on YouTube. The carnage started with Chris Dunn, who also received a strike and was banned from uploading on his channel with 211,000 subscribers for a week. In a tweet, he said YouTube informed him that he allegedly engaged in harmful or dangerous content and sale of regulated goods. And this is where I want to highlight. I think what they're saying, what people don't realize, back in the day, okay, with cryptocurrency being new, there were no regulations. Once cryptocurrency starts becoming official investment property and starts being tracked by the IRS, all of a sudden now you got a ton of regulations. So YouTube needs to be responsible, in my opinion, and talk with their creators and say, here's what's happening. You know, heads up, we've got to start enforcing these investment rules and disclosure rules, and these videos that do these things will be in violation. You've been warned, you have 30 days. How about that? How about they could start working with their creators to solve these problems? It makes no sense to build a system that is inhuman, you know, and that's one of the big problems we have in law enforcement, period, like the legal system. You know, there could be certain circumstances where we can actually be more human and say, I understand you didn't realize, I'm going to give you a warning right now, right? We do that. The cop pulls you over and he says, I'm giving you a warning, don't speed again or else. With this, YouTube, because it's a machine, this is the dystopian nightmare. People building businesses through an algorithmic system that will just purge you without question. Chris Dunn said, YouTube just removed most of my crypto videos citing harmful or dangerous content and sale of regulated goods. It's been 10 years of making videos, 7 million views. WTF are you guys doing? And look at this, a whole list of guideline strikes. Another tweet, Dunn says, I should have put my videos on decentralized platforms a long time ago, but lesson learned. I'll tell you this right now. BitChute. Now, I manually upload to Minds because Minds has a big user base and it's more versatile, and they have a partner program. So this is really, really important actually. For those of you that are watching this that are concerned about what's happening with the crypto community, I tell you where you will find a more friendly space. Minds.com. Now, a lot of people, you don't gotta like it, fine, whatever the point is. They launched a partner program, meaning you actually get paid similar to YouTube. Like YouTube, you get a certain amount of views, YouTube pays you money. Minds is doing the same thing. That's why I use it. BitChute is great because it automatically archives videos like this in my content, but the monetization is typically through like, direct sponsorships from people. Like people will sign up to tip me or something. Now Minds actually has a partner program that is somewhat on par with YouTube. And if you're getting a certain amount of views, it actually can beat the average CPM. I don't know if what Minds' plans for the future is going to be, how they sustain this, because YouTube certainly has its issues. But I'll tell you this right now. If you're in the crypto community, well, Minds uses crypto in its backend for various systems. So they definitely are on board with what you guys are doing. If you are someone who wants to make a channel, make sure you have alternatives set up. Because if you only run your business through just YouTube, don't be surprised when your business evaporates overnight and YouTube does not care. This is the problem with monopolies, okay? And YouTube has essentially a monopoly on the digital video space. Now, I get really frustrated when people are like, they don't have a monopoly. There's like 800 different video services. No, man. They've combined a whole bunch of systems into one. And if you want to start a company, a business where you produce content that's video, that's audio, that's educational, YouTube's where you go. They have the people, they have the biggest audience. And so people might argue, well, it's their audience, then fine, but be clear with the rules. This is why we need to use other platforms. So you know what, man, I'll wrap it up here. I got a couple more segments. I will just say one more time, minds.com, minds.com. If you're not using it, you should. I'm on there at Timcast. I put all my main segments there. I've got like 140-something thousand subs. It's a good platform. They got a lot of work to do, okay? I'll tell you that. It's not perfect. But if we get addicted to YouTube in the face of the 800th time they've arbitrarily banned people, okay, we're in trouble. And I'll be the first to admit the money on YouTube is better than anywhere else. And that's why people use it. But as more and more of us start relying on fan funding and sponsorships through like, Patreon or PayPal or Subscribestar or whatever it is you're using, we don't need YouTube. Granted, the opportunity for growth is there if you do good, and that's why people want to use it. If you do well, sorry. But I think it's important to use alternatives. So I'll leave it there. Stick around. Next segment's coming up in a few minutes, and I will see you all shortly.